Welcome to the KingTablePodcast. I'm your host, King Crucial the Great.
King Chaos, you heard me? Oh, and Michael in the building today. He refused to cooperate. We got a special guest host in the building.
That's right. And he gonna be soaking this knowledge up early. Because today we talking about flat earth. And I'm on it. First off, I'm gonna start us off with a video to get us all up to speed, give us a little reference, and we'll go from there. And then I'll show y'all the other proofs and some other shit. Here we go. So I'm about to share my screen. I need you to allow me to share my screen. I know you don't want to see these facts real quick.
You know, I'm all for the facts here. It says you're alive.
Okay, give me a second.
There you go.
All right, bet. Let's see what. Hey, okay. So that's my desktop. I don't want to show my desktop. Hold up. Still this speaker. We're gonna have it on gallery. There we go. I'm gonna go with this setup, and we're gonna share the screen as soon as I. Okay, hold on. They don't want me to turn the screen up. Let's see now. All right, there it goes. Okay, here we go. Now, this is an interview with a predominant pilot. He was for the U.S. military and government. And he's right now the only documented pilot to fly over the Antarctica and live to tell about it. So, here's what he had to say. Oh, hold up. You probably can't hear it right now. Let me
You know, you plugged in, you got your earbuds in, I can't hear nothing.
Yeah, let me turn it off. Let me turn them off. Okay. Let me turn them off. Okay.
It's on in here.
Larry Lasser, CBS News correspondent, and Kenneth Crawford, National Affairs Editor of Newsweek magazine. Our very distinguished guest for this evening is Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
The North Pole used to be a no man's land, but these are the days when, by buying a ticket on a commercial airliner, you can fly across the North Pole and drink a cocktail at the same time. You know, only 60 or more years ago, about 35 years ago, our guest tonight found out whether there was any land north of the North American continent. He made that first discovery flight, and I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is.
What audio stop?
An area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America. I think it's quite astonishing. Should be. So there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Admiral, do you hope to see that?
I do.
Admiral, would you say that since you've been to both the extremities of Earth, are these expeditions to such far-off places, are they getting easier because of modern techniques, or is danger still close at hand?
Well, it's a little risky, but nothing like it used to be with the old slow planes and the small cruising radius where we had to put down bases. We replaced the dog teams, and of course that was a big improvement. But now the planes go much faster and they're safer, and they have a much bigger cruising radius. You haven't got the danger of a terribly heavy load.
Admiral, an expedition to which I believe you're the...
You catch that, bro?
Man, I caught that he said that there's a pole on the other side of the South Pole. And because we got better technology in the aircraft, we can probably explore it.
Keep listening.
Advisor is now en route. What is that expedition doing?
Well, that's the icebreaker Atka, and it's a reconnaissance expedition. It's going down to the South Pole area to make certain observations and to look for some bases. They will be back in April, and they will report back, and upon the information we get from that undertaking, we will base the bigger expedition that's to follow.
Is that very definitely planned, or is that...
That is being planned right now. So I'm willing to say to you that there will be a number of expeditions that will follow, I think, year after year, at the bottom of the world, because the government has really become interested.
Well, Admiral Byrd, I can understand. I think everybody can, the interest in the North Pole, because it's so near our greatest challenger, Soviet Russia. But why this interest in the bottom of the world?
You heard who he said was interested?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying.
So
I'm interested in everything.
Who got the power to
Where's this man at?
He dead. He just died recently though. This was when he did this interview. He was still employed by the government when he did this interview.
Right.
Hold up, he ain't done. Let him talk. Cause you said it wasn't no monetary sources, or listen to what this man got to say.
And when we get finished, we get on over your bases. I'm gonna clarify what I meant.
Okay.
Nobody living down there, is there?
No, it's pretty cold. There's only one permanent resident, that's the emperor penguin. The little ones live further north. I tell you one reason they're interested. It's by far the most valuable, important place left in the world for science.
The most valuable place left in the world. Hold up. Oh.
That's why the scientific groups all over the nation are really interested. But more important than that, it has to do with the future of the nation, those to come after us, or even during your lifetime. Because it happens to be an untouched reservoir of natural resources. And, as the world swings with an ever-increasing acceleration, far-flung places, once useless like we thought the North Pole was, and no man's land, become very useful. The bottom of the world will be important, not only to us, but to our allies.
I was going to ask you, does it have military importance?
It has some, and as the world shrinks, it will continue to shrink with an ever-increasing acceleration, thus bringing these places closer. And in the future, I can see a time when it will be very, very important strategically.
Well, has the development of air power increased the strategic importance of places like the
very much so.
Palma Peninsula?
Very much so. Even now, if anything happened and we lost the Panama Canal, we would have to control the islands just north of Antarctica, which are part of Antarctica. Then between there and Cape Horn.
I've heard it said that there are 7 continents in the world, and one of them has never been seen by a woman, and that's Antarctica. Is that actually true?
Well, if the Power Peninsula is an island, as far as I know, that's true. No woman's ever stepped foot upon the Antarctic continent, and it's the most peaceful place in the world.
Well, I'm sure that won't last very long. I understand that now that you're working with the Arnold Bread Company in charge of frozen foods. Now, is there any future for frozen foods down these frozen extremities?
Well, I think the human race can be helped by that. This was thought out by Dean Arnold, who's, in my opinion, a great humanitarian. He learned that we went down there after 4 or 5 years and finished a meal that we had left there on the table when we had evacuated Little America. Everything was perfect, including the bread. So he got the idea of this frozen bread. And already he sent some to Europe, and it worked very well over there to some of the starving people. So you can store it down in the Antarctic, and against the lean years, you wouldn't have any people in the world really starving if you did that.
So in the event of an atomic war,
stay there forever.
Admiral, you speak of the resources of Antarctica. What are they? What are the natural resources there?
Well, we've found enough coal within 180 miles of the South Pole in a great ridge of mountains. It's not covered with snow, enough to supply the whole world for quite a while.
Well,
you heard that, bro? Enough coal to supply the world for a long time. Keep spreading that sauce.
That's the coal. Now, there's evidence of many other minerals. We're pretty sure there's oil. Now, that coal shows the bottom of the world. Now, by far, the coldest spot in the world. Where that coal is gets 100 below zero in the winter.
Well,
it was once tropical. So we think there's oil there, and there's evidence, probably uranium there.
Is it any secret? Is there uranium there? That would be the only thing that would be practical to actually go after, I suppose. Everything else would be economically unfeasible, wouldn't it?
Well, as we recklessly expend our resources, the time will come, and we'll have to go after that stuff down there. Well, you know, I avoided what you said about uranium. I'm not sure about that. I don't want to have the world fighting over the Antarctic.
Admiral, is there a competition among other nations to try to get information about Antarctica and possibly to secure some of these resources?
Well, yes. There are now 7 nations very much interested. Russia is interested tremendously. That I'm sure of. Australia has an expedition down there. The Argentine, the Chile, New Zealand, Britain, and so on. Now, you can understand those people down there being interested because they live down there. The New Zealanders, the Argentinians, the Chileans, and the Australians. And so we don't do much about claiming anything.
Admiral, you make it sound a little crowded. Are there that many expeditions now there or en route there?
Well, you know, as I said, it's the most peaceful place in the world, but I don't think it will be for long because of this intense interest on the part of other nations and this nation.
Well, Admiral Byrd, are private expeditions a thing of the past? Is expedition and exploration, making expedition and exploration now purely a government function because there's tremendous
No, I don't think so. I think down south, it may be more or less a thing of the past, but not other expeditions that go there. There's a lot of them going off now.
This latest expedition now on the way is a government expedition, I take it.
Yes, that's the government.
May I ask you, is there a great difference between the top of the world and the bottom of the world?
There is. Now, the North Pole is the center of an ocean 10,000 feet deep. The South Pole, the center of a plateau, 10,000 feet high. The North Pole is...
You catch that, bro? You know how high 10,000 feet is, nigga?
It's surrounded by continents, slightly frozen. The Antarctic continent is surrounded by a belt of ice, frozen seas of at least 1,200 miles thick. Now, the south is a plateau. It gets, in some places, 14,000 feet up.
Now, while that's fresh in your head, let me pause that right there. I'm gonna bring you on over here to the truth file right here. Now, this is what he talking about, that belt of ice that surrounds the so-called South. Now, the North, where we was talking about, that lake that's 10 feet deep, that's frozen, that's right here. It's the North Pole. But the South Pole covers the whole of our known world. That's to give you a visual image of that. Now, let's go ahead and get back to the goddamn interview. There you go.
I've been over the area is about 13,000. And it's a little bit chilly up there. So there's that big difference between the top and bottom of the world. The North really isn't very cold up there on the Arctic Ocean.
So, Admiral Byrd, we often hear said that our young Americans now aren't as hardy as their forefathers. Do you think that Americans do measure up to the standards, the physical standards and morale standards of the past?
I do. I don't believe that. I think they're just as hardy.
Well, what would you say was the most valuable factor on an expedition? Is it morale, or physical courage, or is it sheer equipment?
Well, I've always thought that loyalty was by far the most important thing. The British told me that when I first went down in 28, that I couldn't possibly get through the winter night without a mutiny if I took more than 20 men. But to serve science, I had to take 42 men. Then I took 56 the next time, and so on. And I did find that loyalty was the most important thing during the winter night when it's very hard on your nerves. I think that's straight.
That's a very valuable characteristic at any time. Well, thank you very much, Admiral Byrd. It's been a great pleasure to have you here tonight.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
The opinions expressed on the...
All right. Discussion time. Holla at me. You muted.
I love the facts, and I'm open-minded enough to absorb the information. And if something was to come up,
Yeah.
if I was to have a conversation with someone and they were wanting to debate and they picked the round earth side, and I could argue the flat earth side now, you know what I'm saying? What I was saying earlier, saying that it doesn't have any monetary or spiritual growth or advantage, in my opinion, is because that piece of knowledge cannot elevate me. Like, the government or the powers to be lie about so much other stuff that this bit of evidence doesn't convince me that they're lying about other stuff. Like, I already know they're keeping important information from me. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so the information that I'm trying to ascertain would be more than fun facts that I cannot apply directly.
But you can apply it, bruh.
But check this out. My whole thing is, my argument is every race, every people have their own landmass. We won't have no equality. We won't see no change. It won't be, it'll be the same old bullshit that's been going on for the past 400 years until our people have their own landmass. With this theory, it's possible. With the bullshit that our government tells us, it's not possible because it's all claimed, so to speak. And that's why I thought that was pretty interesting.
So where you're going with this, and this is the point you never actually got to before, but you're saying that because we are on a flat land, so are they saying that so we can stand up on this underside, right? Why the heck? I wouldn't want to go to Antarctica. I don't care if the land is available for me.
Pete, let me give you a different view. Let me give you a different image, because I showed you one piece. I showed you our world. Let me show you what they say is beyond our world. And you gotta understand, they use these words like world to close your mind to make you think that it's a globe. But when I say the world, I'm saying like the whole plane. It's a whole plane. Give me 1 second. Okay, here. This is what the real flat plane would look like. This is the plane that we know. You see, we got South Antarctica, we got the Arctic here, North Antarctica, Canada, the Americas, Florida, Africa, Asia, Australia, South America, and whoop de whoop, right? All this is untapped, but filled with different life forms, probably different people. Who knows? But all we've been taught is this realm. So beyond that great plane of ice, what he speak of, that's what lays beyond it, so to speak.
Okay, the problem I have with images like that, okay?
It's just one. I couldn't find the actual one that they had. It was an actual map I seen a long time ago. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. But I'm listening to you.
So the problem I have with that kind of concept, right?
Right.
That although it sounds really cool, and it would be wonderful for us to have access to more land, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how are we going to access those spaces?
What do you mean?
I'm talking, are we floating through dimensions? Are we
No.
literally just getting on the water and floating? Like,
No, that's impossible. Because you got the plane of ice preventing you from getting there on boat. It would have to be by plane or aircraft. But you got to understand who controls the airs, who controls the real crafts that could get us far distances, bro. Even if you go to fly privately, you still got to have a captain. And most captains not even going to go on an expedition like that, or probably won't even have the clearance to. I don't know. I'm not a pilot. I don't know what a pilot can and can't do. They probably can't even go beyond certain measures of certain places.
we got to add that to the list.
What happened?
We got to add a pilot to the list.
That's it.
But I want to know what happens when we fly over the Bermuda Triangle, because we still got FAA routes that go over this place that's not supposed to be flyable or crossable by a ship, but we still got the FAA sending planes over that every single day.
I personally believe that the Bermuda Triangle is a portal.
Is that portal going to get us to those other land masses?
No, I think to alternate parallel universes. because there's still space. I'm not saying that that we can't get to outer space or we haven't been to space. There's space, but in this universe, and this is all, my personal theory, we have, our solar system. But I feel personally, when you go through the Bermuda Triangle, it takes you to a similar solar system or a similar planet. It's why nobody never came back. It gotta be a portal.
Yeah, so I can't recall, but remember that Malaysian plane? Was that a Bermuda Triangle thing?
The Malaysian plane.
Yeah, there was a Malaysian plane that went missing. They never found no parts of the plane.
I remember that. That was like a few years back.
Yeah, they never were able to track the black box, and there was a whole bunch of crap tied to that. They never could find anything, no signs of anything. Come on, they ain't find nothing.
Hold on, let me pull it up. So, damn, it had like 300 and flight 370.
Yeah, something like that.
That's what's coming up March 24th, 2014.
So stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It be throwing me off a little bit, but at the same time, some of this stuff is so entertaining. Like I really wonder sometimes if I should even waste the energy.
Yes, of course.
You know what I mean? I'm spending so much time, especially recently, learning graphic design and marketing and ads and copywriting. Like my self-improvement reading selection is so organizational based right now.
Right.
That like if somebody was to hit me up with a hey man, read this story about evidence on the alien, man, I might have to put a pin in that one for a few months, man. I got a list of things I need to learn. And so that stuff that I want to kind of get into to expand in them directions, really like currently speaking, are really on pause. Like that's almost in that conspiracy theorist category, not saying that it's on the same level or a lower level of conversation. I'm just saying that I haven't been dedicating energy to those conversations or inquiries because my focus is a little bit adjusted right now.
I feel that. Get some rest, okay?
Come on, boy.
Get some rest for me. Go watch TV in the room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should see this boy standing up trying to hold the Xbox controller. And he started taking some steps.
Damn. Yeah, I think that was probably, I don't know. I gotta do some more research into that, bro. We'll hit that one up next. Portals and shit.
Yeah, but do that portals and shit. We need to go ahead and have a pilot or something. We can holler at somebody who's flown over the Bermuda Triangle. We might need to see if we
Nigga,
can reach
nobody.
out.
What are you talking about? They all dead. They all gone.
Somebody had to fly in the area and have to sort it. Somebody went close to
Oh,
it and
no.
they get pulled and they turn. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna look at the people that survived the Bermuda Triangle.
But as far as this one go, thank y'all for tuning in. This was the King Table Podcast. Hit the links in the bio. And stay tuned until the next episode. Don't sue me. That ain't my shit. That's who said that shit? That was Nate Dogg and Dr. Dre. That ain't me. Whoop de whoop. Peace.